Although we cannot get into the minds of the people waiting in a queue on a cold day in Chukotka, Soviet Union back in 1985 to get wine, or what the daredevil Sky Boys who built the Empire State Building in 1930-31 were thinking when balancing unsecured on the 88th floor, we can get a fairly good glimpse into the wonders of history. Long before color-sensitive film was invented, Russian photographer Sergei Prokudin-Gorsky took 3 individual black and white photos, each with a filter, red, blue, and green, to create high-quality photos in full color. This self-portrait is over 110 years old. Mary Wallace, first female bus driver for Chicago Transit Authority, 1974, colorized. Rosa Parks sits at the front of a bus following the end of racial segregation by the transit company, circa 1965. Stoney First Nation member, Guide Samson Beaver with his wife Leah and their daughter, Frances Louise, 1907. Photo taken by Mary Schaefer. World War I Memorial in Bakratot, Hungary. A dapper group on their way to church, Chicago 1940s. German soldier helps a little boy sneak across the Berlin Wall, 1961. The level of detail on the column of Marcus Aurelius in Rome, which was completed around AD 193. Negotiation between the zoo director and escaped chimpanzee. Belgrade, Yugoslavia, 1988. Residents of West Berlin show their children to their grandparents living in East Berlin, 1961. "20-year-old Helen Mirren dressed for her role as Cleopatra in a theatrical production, 1965. A motorhome in 1922. Us cavalry soldiers pose in front of a tree known as the Grizzly Giant, 1900. The tree still stands. Pablo Picasso painted this when he was 15 years old. Lt. Colonel Robert Sturm is greeted by his family, returning home after more than 5 years as a prisoner of war in North Vietnam. Burst of Joy is a Pulitzer Prize-winning photograph by Associated Press photographer Slava Sal-Vetter, taken on March 17, 1973 at Travis Air Force Base in California. Sailors saluting a war veteran, Leningrad, 1989. The Sioux Nation of Native Americans teepee spread across the Great Plains in 1800s, image believed to have been taken in the Dakota Territory. Star Wars characters together from left to right: Han Solo, Darth Vader, Chewbacca, Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker and R2-D2, 1977. There was a time when you could see the core structure of the Twin Towers. 1970, during the construction. Silent film actress, Dolores Costello, Drew Barrymore's grandmother, 1928. World War I field, more than 100 years later. A rare example where an engineer thought about the mechanic. DAF Domburg diesel, from 1949. Made in the Netherlands. Niagara Falls froze over in 1883. $150-million-year-old dinosaur footprints in France. Marilyn Monroe photographed by Earl Leaf 1950. The first photo of Chernobyl on the morning of the nuclear disaster, April 26, 1986. The heavy grain is due to the huge amount of radiation in the air that began to destroy the camera film the second it was exposed for this photo. Photo taken by Igor Kostin. 3 generations of women outside their stone cottage in Ireland, 1927. Bruce Lee and his family in 1970. Nanwood Graham and Dr. Byron McKeeby pictured in 1942 recreating their original poses for the iconic American Gothic. She was the painter's sister, and he was their dentist. The seal of Tutankhamun's tomb on the Third Golden Shrine, before it was opened in 1923. It was unbroken for over 3,000 years. Shoemaker's Lunch, 1944. Photo by Bernard Cole. American soldiers at Mass in the rubble at Cologne Cathedral, March 1945. The FBI fingerprint files, 1944. A knocker-up in London, 1929. Before alarm clocks, people were paid to wake clients up for work by knocking on their doors and windows with a stick. An elevator parking lot in Chicago, 1930s. The roof of an old Fiat factory. Yes, that is a track, Lignato, tour in Italy. A 32-year-old mom trying to start a new life in California, March 1937.